Hey y'all, it is February the 21st, 2019, and y'all, there's a few things that I wanted to share with y'all real briefly because I got some time constraints. I got to get ready for work in a little bit. But I wanted to talk with y'all about, like I said, a few things. And I want to start off with something that's a little bit unrelated. All right, later on I want to talk about Nezar Hamzy. But first off, I want to talk about the animation. Now, we've gone over the animation a few times. Or, I mean, there's different animations, but we've gone over the different animations a couple of times, at least, with each. And, in reference to the second one, I guess, in which we see the people, they're getting all shot up in the school. I want to talk about that real quick, all right? Because we've gone over the animations, we've explained how basically it's an insult to our faces, right? And it's nothing more than that. All right, so in reference to the second one, where everybody's getting all shot up and everything, I want to point out that this isn't new to most people or to a lot of people. A lot of people caught this right away, all right? But I wanted to point out and be on record, and that there's no way, all right? Talk to medical, emergency personnel, everything. There's no way that you're going to know when people died in that school. You're just not going to know. All right. Now, if you watch the animation, you see people, they go from injured to murdered, like injured to they're deceased. They're no longer with us. Like I said, that's impossible. All right. Talk to emergency personnel. You're not going to know when exactly people died. That's a lie. That's a lie to you. All right. Like, for example, in animation, Chris Hickson, he gets shot and then he gets shot again and he dies, right? Basically immediately. If you go to real life tells you that stories were going around that he lived, that he was actually transported out the school via a golf cart and taken to the hospital, and at the hospital he died. Right? Some people see that as insignificant. No, it's extremely significant. They're lying to your face. Here's the thing. It's an interesting game that they're playing because they know if they can put out the animation and nobody says anything about it, well, then anything goes. Anything. They'll lie to you about anything. They're testing the waters. Put out the animation. The animation is absolutely absurd, and so they'll just keep going with it. All right? Let me point out you another example. If you ever watch Sheriff Israel, I've watched him more than I care to admit. But if you ever watch him and he's up there on the podium or whatever doing his thing, right, you'll note that he tells some whoppers, all right, some record-setting lies completely, all right, but go ahead and slow it down if you want. Watch it again. Because you'll notice, you look back, you know when he's lying, so you'll see, okay, he's lying. Right when he's lying, every time, every single time, he'll look up at the audience and look around, look to see if anybody bought his dirty, disgusting, stinking lie. He does it every time. Why don't you go ahead and slow it down and watch it? Every single time. He looks up to see if people bought it. All right? So he tells this outrageous whopper of a lie. He looks up, and when he doesn't see people reaching for a rope, reaching for pitchforks, gathering the townspeople and stuff with torches and stuff, when he doesn't see that, he knows that he got away with something incredible. And he does it every time. And I thought I would point that out. But like I said, I wanted to talk about Nezar Hamzy, and I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, and I talk about it, I bring him up from time to time. Of course, I pointed out how his organization that he's conveniently got away from recently, Care Florida, they're involved with a lot of sort of people, to include pedophiles, this and that, people running compounds, school shooters and training, what you would expect, right? So I wanted to bring him up, but last time I brought him up, and for the most part, I keep forgetting to bring up his cousin. If you don't know who that is, his cousin's named Abdelaziz. His cousin's named Abdelaziz. And for those who don't know his cousin, I want to be real brief. I found it very interesting, the story of his cousin, all right, Abdelaziz, who I believe is in prison right now. And it will be in prison for a little while longer. And I'm not sure the details of it, but let me explain. Abdelaziz, if you don't know, he wound himself up in prison because of a whole situation. And I want to break it down as fast as possible. But they were in Florida, right? Abdelaziz, he accidentally hits and runs. Some guy and that guy's prize Cadillac, and the guy's woman's with them and everything, and they're just having a little family thing over there, and they get hit and ran on by Abdelaziz from behind. All right, so he hits them, and then he takes off, hit and run, right? What happens, just to explain real briefly, is they wind up chasing him down the road in their car. All right, because they don't like the fact that he tried to hit and run on them. So they chase him down. There is traffic. I guess they get stopped at a light. There's a confrontation that ensues. All right. Somehow during this confrontation, the lady, and her name slips my mind, I'm sorry about that, but the lady, she gets out. She's real agitated. And she wants justice. They've been hit and ran on. All right, let me be real clear. So she's trying to look for some sort of justice or whatever. She gets in front of Abdelaziz's car. That was her first mistake. All right. And I'm not blaming her for anything, but she made some mistakes, and we're going to talk about it. She gets in front of the car. Abdelaziz, he is not wanting any sort of confrontation, so he starts to pull away. All right. Second mistake, this lady, she jumps on the hood of Abdelaziz's car. All right? And if you don't see it coming, Abdelaziz, he takes off anyways with the lady on the hood of his car. So it's taking off down the highway. All right? Long story short, the lady, she winds up falling off the hood of the car. All right? She gets pinned up under the car. The car is still going at very fast speeds. I've heard a lot of descriptions of what takes place after that. I've heard the words dismemberment. Description of it sounded as though he was dragging some sort of cardboard thing up under his car. That's what it sounded like when he was dragging this poor lady down the street, and parts of her body were falling off. Of course she died. All right. So after the fact, Abdelaziz winds up saying, well, it's kind of self-defense. He didn't, he was startled and stuff like that. And so he's trying to basically plead that he didn't understand what he was doing. He's very scared and stuff like that. He wound up going to prison, all right? Because, okay, here's the thing. Scared or not, self-defense or not, what Abdelaziz then does, after dismembering this lady, leaving her body parts all down the road, he goes to his crib or wherever, a safe place. He washes off his car, washes all the blood off, changes the license plates, right? Buys some airplane tickets, goes to the airport, flies to New York City, all right, successfully. And from there, he's going to go ahead and connect over to Athens, Greece. And from there, probably he was going to end up in Lebanon or something where his people come from. All right. But when he got to New York, when he got to JFK or wherever it is, I forget what it's called in New York. When he gets there, he finds out he's not free. Thing is, can you imagine him on the airplane going to New York? He's like, oh man, I can't believe I got away with this. Oh, I can't believe it. When he gets to New York, yeah, they caught him up. All right, so they caught him, brought him back. He winds up after a long time with the trial and the whole process. He wants to go to prison, obviously. And they do the whole self-defense thing, but that was absurd anyways. All right, when you consider what he did afterwards. Okay, so later on, and I want to finish up this story real quick because I don't got a bunch of time, but later on, while he's in prison, Abdelaziz actually winds up suing people in the prison, all right, without stating all the details, basically suing them for letting him get roughed up in the prison. Apparently a couple guards beat him down. Supervisor watches it. Some other guards just watch it. And this is how the story goes. I don't know exactly what happens. All right. But he gets a beat down allegedly. So he winds up suing for it. And the thing is, just to be real brief, without the necessary evidence that you would need to provide, all right, according to court documents, without that sort of evidence, he really wasn't able to get granted as much as he wanted, right? He only wound up getting about a settlement of $70,000, all right? I don't know what that might mean to y'all. $70,000 settlement, all right? Because he couldn't really prove very much. While he's in prison, how does that work? I don't have no clue. Does that go all to his commissary? I don't have no clue. All right, but he got settled for $70,000 because some people roughed him up. Meanwhile, there's a lot of people who, if they didn't know about this situation, they might find it very unsavory that he dismembered this lady on the road and then tried to get away with it. All right, they might find that very unsavory. In fact, when we take it back to his cousin, Nezar, his cousin winds up saying what you would think, the typical thing. Oh, I think my cousin was scared. My cousin Abdelaziz was scared for his life, and so he didn't know what he was doing and stuff like this. All right, that's what his cousin Nezar said. He's a deputy for Broward County, by the way. All right, and the thing is, I don't know all the details. I really don't. But here's what I can imagine. Here's what I can infer. Abdelaziz wouldn't have seen a dime of money if it wasn't for his cousin, Nezar Hamzy, and his cousin's organization, Care Florida. Abdelaziz wouldn't have seen a dime if it wasn't for that organization. All right, so take that for what you will. Now, speaking on Nezar Hamzy, all right, still to this day, I can't see anything that directly relates to the Parkland incident in and of itself. All right, I can't. But with that being said, I do want to briefly note that the people who are aware of Nezar Hamzy knows his stances about, say, arming Muslim people. All right, and I'm not going to speak against that. But he's very pro-Second Amendment, for Muslims. He's very pro-Muslim and this and that. Just how you would expect. All right? But I wanted to talk about Nezar because even though he's not directly related to Parkland, you will note that he was supposedly teaching all sort of mosques and around the area. First of all these mosques almost seems like an invasion because Florida is typically there's a lot of Jewish people. I wouldn't say it's entirely Jewish, but there's a whole ton of Jewish people and everybody knows it. So why is there a mass influx of Muslim people in that particular area? I don't know. Sounds unsavory, right? But okay, Nezar Hamzy, he's very consumed with teaching different various mosques that are very questionable, by the way. You've got very questionable affiliations. He's very adamant about teaching them about, preventative measures when it comes to shooting people up. He's very worried about mosques getting shot up in America, even though mosques on record never get shot up. Never. So he's very concerned about it. And so that's why he's teaching people what they should do if they're in a mosque and it starts getting shot up. A lot of people thought that there might be a hidden agenda behind that, I'll leave it at that. But at the same time, if Deputy Nezar Hamzy, if he would have paid maybe more attention or equal attention to preparing, say, public high schools, all right, to know what to do on getting shot up, if he would have done that, Parkland might have been a lot better off. All right? But instead, his focus was on securing mosques from getting shot, even though mosques just don't never get shot up in America, right? That being said, I want to go ahead and finish out this video, but if you do take time to note who Nezar Hamzy is and what he stands for, you'll notice certain things. And with that being said, I want to just go ahead and emphasize, in America, I can't speak for everybody else, but in America, there's no reason why a Muslim person, an openly Muslim person, should be in the government, period. No reason, not one, should ever be in the government in any facet or in the police department, ever, in any way. And I know a lot of people would agree with me. Say, why would you agree? Well, here's the thing. They believe in some different kind of law, unfortunately. I think you might have heard of Sharia. They believe in that. All right, period. That's what's in their book. All right, they also believe in something called taqiyya, and I know a lot of y'all heard about that. All right, that's just their problem. When it comes to Christians and stuff like that, for example, for to use examples, our book says to follow the law of the land. All right, just to be real brief about it, their book says to lie and lie and lie and only follow your own law. It's called Sharia law. Right? Ergo, they should never be in the government. They should never be in the police department. Can they live here? Sure. I don't care. Can they be a comedian? Sure. Can they be a professor? Sure. Can they be a janitor? Go for it. Can they be a police officer? No, never. A deputy? Never. In the government? Never. There's no excuse for it ever. All right? And I just want to finish out on that note. It's all very suspect, and I still got my eyes on Nezar Hamzy. Right, and I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. I appreciate y'all. It's February the 21st, 2019.